What's up mga Hechicera? Welcome to the Tuesday Vargas podcast. I apologize once again for not being able to upload last Tuesday. Lagi na lang ako nagsasorry. I never thought na ganito pala kahirap gumawa ng podcast na weekly ang schedule, no? Kasi as a parent, hindi ko talaga maswing yung merong ganito palang kailangang requirement. Pero luckily, marami tayong mga magagandang topics to touch on at it gives us ample time to research on it. So, sabi ko, sige, I'll use this additional few days para maghanap ako ng data about what I really want to talk about. Because something happened in my life recently na I'm sure a lot of parents also share. And ito yung mga pagkakaroon ng mga anak na nasa ibang henerasyon. So, ano ba yung mga problemang pinagdadaanan natin bilang mga magulang? Paano natin siya i-handle? Tapos, saan ba nanggaling tong generational misunderstanding na to na nararanasan ng lahat? So, stick around. This is going to be a good one. Today's topic hits close to home because it not only affects Filipino parents, but I think it has become a global epidemic, if I can say that. It's about this modern dynamic ng magulang at anak na parang nako-compare kung paano natin tinatrato yung mga parents natin, at least in my time, sa generation ng mga anak natin. So, if to give this context and better clarity, I'm 45 years old and my son is 24 years old. Since I became a parent at 21 years old, I was also doing my own growing up while I was becoming a parent. And parenting doesn't come with a handbook or a manual. Hindi yan kagaya ng ibang mga trabaho na considering this is one of the hardest jobs you can ever take on in this life, no? Yung pagiging magulang. Wala yung instruction or handbook na kasama kapag ka naging parent ka na, kaya think long and hard before becoming a parent because it's not an easy task. So whether you're a parent watching this or you're an actual adult child who is trying to contemplate estrangement and cutting your parents off, I think this is a timely topic because it involves the most important unit in our society, which is the family. So I hope you stick around and let us, dive into this together. And I hope we could gain clarity at the end of this episode. Ayon sa datos sa Amerika, there are 27% of adult children who are actually estranged from their families, their parents to be specific. And to put that into clearer perspectives, it is 1 in 4 adult Americans. So napaka-alarming ang rate ng pag-increase ng decision na ito. It's like a mass movement of children slowly coming into awakening, thinking that everything that happened in their life, the trauma the trauma that they experience, their parents are to blame. They become labeled as villains. But what is it actually doing to families? What is it really? Ano bang understanding natin sa pagkakalayo ng pamilya, pagkakawatak-watak ng mga pamilya, or yung sinasabi ng mga anak na, kaya ako ganito, dahil sa pagtrato mo sa akin, you didn't love me enough, you didn't have time for me, I am rebelling because of you. So, pointing fingers and nothing is getting solved. So, I really wanna delve into this topic so much kasi alam kong maraming magbe-benefit. Ano ba yung nagdadrive sa divide na nangyayari ngayon? And research is showing us the causes. So, meron din talagang actual harm na nangyayari during the childhood years of your children. At as parents, ang dapat nating unang response dito is not to see it as an attack whenever our kids tell us that there's actual harm that happened to them. So, maraming forms yan. Pwedeng emotional abuse, neglect, pwede ding meron silang adverse experiences that happen to them with and without our presence. So whatever it is that they come forward with, accept that as their reality and something that truly affects them. We as the older generation or the ones that experience it differently, kasi 'di ba yan yung sinasabi nila, nung bata kami mas matibay kami, kayang-kaya namin yung mga problema, palo lang yan. Iba ngayon ang pagproseso ng mga kabataan. So we have to adapt to their way of coping. We have to understand their level of emotional maturity because it is not the same in all generations. So, which leads me to my second reason bakit nagkakaroon ng divide between generations. It's the actual generational shift in values. So what is important for our parents may not necessarily be as important to us in our generation. And entonces, ganun din po sa generation ng mga anak natin. So our young cohorts prioritize mental health and their autonomy more ever than previous generations. Importante sa kanila na malaya sila. Yung freedom na yan, sinesavor nila yan, nire-relish nila yan sa kanilang mga buhay. And for us na lumaki sa mga bahay that children are meant to be seen and not heard, yan ang mga bukang bibig ng ating parents, we're not used to that. So that doesn't mean that two parties are in the wrong. Kailangan lang ng understanding. And lastly, nagkakaroon din ng pagkakahati because there are differences in expectations. So, merong differences sa identity ng bawat isa. Iba na ang konsepto ng mga bata on who they are. Parang they feel even if they're younger, they have to have a say in family decisions. They have to be accepted, their lifestyle choices, the modern ways in which they attack their problems, their choices in politics. They don't necessarily have to be aligned with their parents' political ideologies. So something like that. Yung mga pagkakaiba natin, masyado na siyang glaring ngayon kasi yung advent ng social media, ini-empower ang mga kabataan na magkaboses at magkaroon ng authenticity na sobrang madiin sa kanilang pagkatao na maaga pa lang alam na talaga nila kung ano ang kailangan nila. So, ito ay hinahain nila na malinaw sa kanilang elders. So, let me read from my copy because this is also based on the studies I gathered with regards to this topic. So, psychologists note that sometimes estrangement reflects protective decisions rather than simply self-centered ones. So, sa Tagalog po, kadalasan nalilabel ito as abuse or trauma when in fact, ang ginagawa lang talaga ng parental figure is pinoprotect natin ang ating mga kabataan from the possible hurts and pains that they will experience later on in life when they tackle it on their own. But what we fail to realize is the more we shield them from life's trials, life's ups and downs, is the more we ill-equip them to face them in the first place. Ibig sabihin, wala sila nung depensa, nung armor na kailangan nila para harapin yung buhay. And that is because we tried to protect them so much. But that nuance can be lost in online discussions and social media threads. So, kakanood nila ng mga overly psychologized memes, talks, and even the ones who are considered professionals also who side with the ideologies that prosper estrangement and cutting your parents off, nalulose natin in translation yung maliliit na bagay na dapat din due din sa mga parents. Ano ba to? Mga basics such as respect, honoring the legacy that your parents are trying to build, and of course, their parental right to protect and guide you every step of the way whenever it is you consider things regarding your growth and your career path or your life path. Okay? So, let us touch that topic. Exactly yan ang gusto kong pag-usapan. Ano ba tong sinasabing therapy speak? Ano ba tong mga napapanood, nakokonsume ng ating mga kids on social media? So, platforms like TikTok, Reddit, and Instagram, they have given unprecedented visibility to psychologists, psychiatrists, professionals than ever before in any timeline, in any generation. So, they are taking center stage now and they promote their ideologies through their pages, through their websites, and through whatever avenues of income they might see it fitting. For example, workshops, seminars, and even groups that you pay access to. So sometimes when children are not guided or their intention is not clear to them why they join these groups or they absorb these materials, nami-mislead ang mga kabataan. So sa akala nila talagang naabuso sila o meron silang pinagdadaanan when in fact it's just influence na kino-correlate nila, nagiging blanket truth to para sa pinagdadaanan nila pero hindi naman sila properly diagnosed. So remember, a therapist speaking to you on social media is not your actual therapist. You should really go to a professional, your individual situation assessed, and then a proper diagnosis unique to you will be handled by a professional who listen to your actual story, hindi the story of somebody else, hindi the struggle of another person you idolize, hindi a book or an author that you believe in, kailangan po malinaw po iyon na therapy speak is just that. It's just noise. It only becomes healing when it's specific to you and your own situation assessed and addressed. So yan po ang role na piniplay. Yan na po ang magiging downside ng social media. It can amplify emotional narratives and reinforce extreme viewpoints that may not necessarily reflect the full picture. Algorithms often reward emotionally charged content. So the more interactions, the more comments, the more likes, the more hearts it receives, the more it filters through your feed. And that's where therapy speak becomes harmful. Yung mga psychological jargon that our children cling to. Oh my gosh, you don't respect my space. Oh my gosh, you don't hear me out. Is space a thing? You should do that and try it sometime. You're just my mom. You're not the Lord of my life. Those things na are hinged actually on just the emotional quotient of things and not the actual logical side of things. Yung mga yan, kakabitan nila ng psychological jargon na parentified. Kakabitan nila yan ng children of divorce. Kakabitan nila yan ng kung ano-ano pa that would reinforce a certain narrative. Terms like calling you a narcissist, meron kang trauma bonding na na-experience, or even gaslighting, I'm sure lagi niyo yung naririnig, are sometimes used inaccurately online, turning complicated behaviors into simplistic labels. So masyado nating tinitrivialize ang mga dapat taon na pinoproseso with an actual professional. This can make ordinary parental imperfections feel like deeply pathologically true. Di po ba? Na ang isang pagkakamali or a few mistakes as a parent, since you're also growing up and learning this as you go, di ba, are viewed as pushing people away, are viewed as reasons enough for alienation, which is not supposed to be the case. Now, let's talk about well-intentioned parents getting blamed about all of this. So maraming mga magulang at anak na hindi nagkakaintindihan ngayon at dyan na lumalabas yung labanan online recently kung napapansin ninyo. Nako, mga millennial, arasagid, ang mga boomer, masyadong maraming mga values na hindi na nag-a-apply ngayon, luma na yan. Makinig kayo sa amin, mga Gen Z, kami yung makabago, kami yung emotionally mature, kami yung woke. Yan, hate na hate ko yung maling paggamit ng salitang woke. So as you know, no matter how woke you are, no matter how intellectual you may think yourself to be, your parents did right by you. The mere fact that you can say your words, that you have thoughts that are clear in your mind, that says a lot about how you were educated, how you were raised. So yun palang unang fact na yun, you must accept that your parents did the best they could with the situation and circumstances that they had. So they worked hard, they provided stability for you, they loved you, but still, if you will notice, your parents find themselves in a predicament where they get blamed when adult children, their own adult children, carry unresolved pain. Nobody wants that. No parent in their right mind would love that feeling of disalignment in their lives, especially when it comes to their children. Sometimes that blame is rooted in so many things. It's in miscommunication. Kunyari, magkaiba lang kayo ng the way you talk to each other. Meron din yung generational differences in emotional expression. Kasi ang mga nanay talagang mainitin ng ulo. Lalo na pag magulo ang bahay. May mga hugasin sa lababo. Yung mga inutos, hindi nagawa kahit na ilang beses binilin. Meron kayong mga usapan na hindi na naman sinusunod. Parang lumalaganap yung kaisipan na kapag ang nanay mo pumutak at ang nanay mo nagtumalak, ayan na naman si mama. Abusado na agad ang pakiramdam. So, magkakaiba lang siguro ng expression at hindi lang nagkakaunawaan dahil bawat henerasyon magkaiba ng pag-express ng anger. Kayo rin naman, mga kabataan, pag hindi rin kayo agree, anong ginagawa nyo? Naglalak kayo ng kwarto. Hindi kayo nagpaparamdam. Ginagamit ninyo ang inyong silence at absence as a form of control. So, nagiging amanos ang lahat. When in fact, dapat lang maintindihan natin na magkakaiba lang tayo ng pag-process ng mga nararamdaman natin. And that is where healing begins. Understanding. So another thing is expectations learned from media and pop psychology are so prevalent that we don't even know what to believe anymore. Minsan akala natin tayo yung naniniwala doon pero nabasa lang pala natin or napanood natin. It's important to recognize that acknowledging hurt doesn't have to be an attack, as I said. Parents must be able to listen without defensiveness, and children need to communicate specific experiences unique to them so that the problem can be addressed and resolved. All right? So what will I say for parents? Actually, I don't have any big advice for you because I'm going through the same thing, but I have done my research and I think we can all heal together if we only put our minds together also. As parents, dapat hindi tayo maging talunan because tayo din ang source ng strength ng mga pamilya natin. So, ito ang mga psychology back tips na mabibigay ko sa mga parents. So, ibig sabihin, ayon po ito sa siyensya. Ito po ay pinag-aralan ng mga dalubhasa. So, ano po ang unang dapat ginagawa natin bilang magulang? Ito po yun. As parents, we can do a lot of things to address while our child distances themselves from us. Number one is to cultivate self-reflection. We have to be ready, in all honesty, with complete transparency, to examine our own behavior, even when it's uncomfortable. Sometimes small things that parents do, these patterns that we have done to our families and to ourselves from our kids' childhood up to the present, create lasting impressions. So we have to be able to see ourselves as part of the problem as well and not see that as a form of weakness, because that's where we start solving it, by addressing that we too had a hand in it. Number two, we have to avoid defensive responses. When our child expresses pain, resists our disciplining by their dismissiveness whenever they say, I never meant it that way, I don't want to hurt you, I just will keep quiet because every time I open my mouth, you don't listen to me. Please acknowledge what they felt. Validation doesn't require agreement. Just tell them, it's valid that you don't want to talk to me. I respect that you need space. And if ever I said something or did something that would hamper your way of expression and would limit your capacity to share things with me as your mother, I will simply back down to give you that ample time you need to process and recover. Kailangan po maintindihan natin na hindi porket tayo ang magulang, tayo po lagi ang tama. Kailangan din po nating maintindihan na kung meron pong nararamdaman yung mga anak po natin, bigyan natin sila ng tamang espasyo, kahit pa masakit din sa atin sa simula, kasi wala naman po talagang change na nagsisimula ng galing sa happy experience. Lagi namang nangyayari ito kapag panahon na meron tayong problema, kasi yan talaga ay opportunity for growth. Okay? Next thing we need to do is seek professional support. Individual or family members need therapy as well. So, hindi lang po couples, hindi lang po yung mga taong may mental health issues. Kahit kayo po as family members tapos meron lang kayong hindi pagkakaunawaan na kailangan nyo na ng mediator or arbiter, huwag kayong mahiya na maghanap ng tulong, to seek out help. This helps improves the narratives that we say to ourselves. It improves communication within the family and create better understanding sa lahat ng mga miyembro ng pamilya that experience the same thing. So, probably kung nandun na kayo sa step na yon, kailangan na talaga na kumonsulta. And lastly, model growth over perfection. So, as I said, I've given all parents listening to me now an excuse to take it easy and give yourself some grace, because you were actually just trying to be a good parent. Yan lang naman po talaga yung ginagawa ninyo. But sometimes, we get lost in our way. Sabi nga ng anak ko sa akin recently when we had an argument, he told me that good intentions can also hurt people. And he is correct. He is right. But you have to start at the beginning of the sentence, good intentions. So it comes from a place of love. And nobody can be wrong when it comes from a place of love. Magkaiba lang po ang approach. So, yun po siguro ang kailangan nating gawin. Aralin din natin kung paano din natin gustong itrato tayo. ganun din po ang ipapasa natin sa pagtrato natin sa anak natin. Kung gusto po natin na nakikinig sa atin ang mga bata, makinig din tayo sa kanila. Kung gusto po natin na sundin po natin tayo ng ating mga anak, sundin po natin ang mga payong sinasabi din natin at mga pangako na iniiwan natin sa mga sarili natin, because ultimately, children are very impressionable. They grew up watching you. They grew up listening to the way you talk and the way you behave. So chances are, majority of their bad behavior stems from what you did as well. So the moment you realize that, the moment na mag-self-check ka na, yun din yun. Mangyayari siya at the same time. Na, may mali ako. Kailangan ko ring magbago. So mag-ayos din po kayo ng buhay. Ito po ay para rin po sa mga magulang na nanonood ngayon. Kasali din po tayo sa kailangang magkaroon ng change. Meron din po akong iiwang advice, hindi lang po sa mga parents na nanonood ngayon sa aking episode, ganun din po sa adult children na nakakaranas ng ganito sa kanilang mga pamilya. For adult children who feel hurt or misunderstood, my initial advice is be specific and not general when it comes to sharing your story with your parent. So, yung pag-label ninyo sa mga magulang ninyo as toxic or abusive can cement a narrative that stops your growth. It's not ultimately abuse when you think about it, because there are things that are unsaid and are not examined, that are left to just rot and fizzle away. So what I suggest is, collectively as a family, you have a goal. Dapat tuwing nag-uusap kayo, meron kayo dapat gustong ma-achieve, at laging yun ay peace and love sa loob ng pamilya. At para maabot yan, kailangan ay ilalabas ninyo ang lahat ng aspeto ng problema at sama-sama ninyong tutulungang ayusin. Hindi pwedeng blanket truth, hindi pwedeng pag-akusa lang, hindi pwedeng pagturo ng mga kamay kung sino may kasalanan. Kailangan specific po tayo, and ano yung eksaktong naramdaman natin para sa susunod ay maging maganda ang pagtrato natin sa isa't isa. Second advice that I would give adult children when it comes to considering alienating yourselves from your families, or considering estrangement from a parent that you think is abusive, is, to separate yourself from the situation for a while. Sometimes kasi we are overcome by our emotions, na nakakalimutan na natin na minsan sa buhay natin napakadami talagang nagawang mabuti pa rin ng mga magulang natin para sa atin, at hindi pwedeng ang a few mistakes na ito ang magsispell ng 100% ng story nila as parents. So step back a little bit. Like I said, space is very important for the both parties that are concerned to have time to process things separately. That may take a few days, a few weeks, but no matter how long it takes, as long as both parties are willing to make it work, meron pa rin konting touch base paminsan-minsan at hindi complete na pag-block ng avenues of communications, then there's hope for, for reconciliation. Next advice I would give is to allow for mutual vulnerability. So, ang growth natin hindi lang one-sided, no? Hindi puro si magulang lang na tingin mong may nagawa sa yung mali ang magbabago, at hindi din ikaw lang ang magbabago. Kailangan yan sabay. So, healing requires both parties to be willing to make changes. So, kailangan may accountability, may pag-amin ng hindi pagiging perpekto bilang mga tao, bilang individual na bahagi ng pamilya. Tapos, pagka nagkaroon na kayo ng vulnerability level na ganito, saka kayo magsisimula na magkaroon ng acceptance. And lastly, aside from space, don't assign blame as well. Reconciliation takes patience. It may involve steps like letters, mediated conversations, and slow rebuilding of trust. So what we need to share with our family members is to replace assumption with empathy, to replace accusation with communication, and to replace blame with accountability and responsibility. Both generations can benefit by listening with curiosity rather than judgment, understanding that pain often looks different from each side, and recognizing that love and hate can sometimes coexist. So I hope you're healing right now, guys, and I hope that this episode has helped all of you by just merely listening to my voice or the insights that I've shared with you today. Thank you once again for sharing this wonderful moment with me. And as always, these are my parting words for all of you. Nobody wins when it comes to silence and alienation and estrangement. Whether you're a parent who's feeling hurt or bewildered because of the behavior of your adult children who are trying so hard to separate themselves from you, or you're the adult child struggling with unresolved emotions, your relationship matters. Gusto ko pong magkaroon ng pag-asa ang bawat pamilyang Pilipino na itong hindi natin pagkakaintindihan ay hindi magiging katapusan ng kwento natin bilang pamilya. Healing isn't about erasing past pains. Healing isn't about knowing it all at once. It's about understanding it and moving forward with intention. That pain you are feeling right now is trying to teach you something. It's giving you an open door towards the betterment of your family situation. Thank you for joining me. Diyos ko, Day, ang dami na naman nating problema bilang babae, bilang magulang, pero kaya natin tong gawin ng magkasama. At maraming salamat dahil hindi nyo po alam, akala ninyo ay nakakatulong ako at ako lang ang merong benepisyo dito sa channel na ito. Actually, mas mabigat po ang naitutulong ninyo sa akin by listening in and joining me in meaningful discussions every time I do my episode. So hanggang sa muli, kahit nakakatsyos ko dahi ang mga problema, sama-sama pa rin tayong magkakaroon ng mga resolution together. Once again, this is Tuesday Vargas and thank you for listening to the Tuesday Vargas podcast.